Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. In this video, I basically just want to show you how to be able to use the turtle class. So if you guys remember a few videos back, I introduced the math class and how to be able to use the math class. So in order to be able to use the math class, you needed to actually call the math class. And there are various methods. And it had the form like this. It tells you what methods are available. So the idea of the turtle class remains the same. So if you want to be able to use methods of the turtle class, you will have to be able to call the method on the object that you are creating and working with. So in this case, because we are working, if I go back to the code, turtle is the class that we are working with. And if I want to be able to call methods of a class, think of it like a main method under the hood. So basically, the turtle is a class, and what does a class have? A class have various methods, and whenever you want to be able to call a method of, let's say, a math class, you would have to say math dot and then call the method of the class on the math class. So in this case, if I want to be able to call methods of the turtle class, I will have to specify to this variable. This variable t allows us to access methods of the class. So whenever I say t dot something or t dot something, I am basically accessing methods, or later on we'll talk about fields. Able to access methods of a class because I've created an instance of that class, because the class is right here. As you can see, if I scroll up, as you can see right here, public class turtle. So because I am creating a new instance of that class, I am able to call methods of it. So let's go ahead and see what methods are available. For example, there's a method called t.forward right here, which moves the turtle forward by the given distance. So right here. So as we can see, we talked about parameters, and what's right here? It tells us what this method does. It says move the turtle forward by the given distance. And what does it take in? This method takes in a parameter. So the idea is I need to be able to pass a double distance. So if I go back here and say t dot, and I call the method forward, and I say 100, this will basically move the turtle forward 100. So let's run it and see what happens. It might take a little while because the computer. But yeah, here's what it did. The turtle started here and it moved 100. Um, so that's just one method that you can use. But let's say I messed up this method. Let's say I said t dot forward this. Um, this will give me a compiler error because, as you can see, it's saying method forward, like with a capital F that takes in an int parameter. Again, we talked about ints and doubles. You can mix their types, so you can have a double be an int, but not vice versa. We talked about that in a couple of videos ago. But the idea is we are calling a method forward that takes in a int or a double. So we are calling a method forward with a capital F. So if I go back to Java documentation, if I look for a method, if I do Control F and I say forward, if I try to search for it, I only see one method that has forward, but it's a lowercase f. I don't see a method that's a capital F. If I keep looking for it, I still don't see it. I still don't see it. I still don't see it. So that's the case where I was talking about earlier. Whenever you want to access a class of method, you have to say t dot, and then the class that you are using has to have that method be defined. So in this case, forward is not defined for this turtle class with capital F, but is defined for a lowercase f. So that's just that. There's also a method called, you guys, we saw it earlier right here, which is backwards. So backward basically moves it backwards. So if I do t dot forward 100 and I said t dot backward 100, if I try to compile, run this, this basically started the turtle. It moved forward and then it moved back. I can get more fancy. I could keep doing this over and over again. I could do t dot forward 250, t dot forward 250. I can just keep playing around with it using different methods. Uh, let's see what this does. Look what it did if I expand it. As you can see, we moved 100, then we moved backwards 100, then we moved forward 250, and then we moved backwards 250. Um, I could also get fancy. I could move left and right. So what happens if I move? Let's say I did t dot left 100, t dot forward 100. I said t dot left 100. So let's make all these 100. What happened? Let's see what happens here. Hey, look, we almost drew something. So we could actually draw a shape if you want to actually draw a shape. For example, I could draw a square. What does a square have? A square has 90 degrees. So what if I change this to be a 90? If I change this to be a 90, and then I did this 4 times. So let's see what happens if I did this. Again, I'm not sure what this will produce, but we could just run it, see what happens. It's always a good idea to always run it. Actually, I know what it produces, but I want you guys to see what it produces. See, it produced a square. So basically, the idea of why this produced a square. Think of it left. Let's go back to the left. There's a method of the left class. It says turns the turtle left by the number of indicated degrees, and here it takes in a double angle. The parameter it takes in is a double angle, and it moves in that direction. And the idea is we drew a square. And what does a square have? A square has 90 degrees. And what else does a square have? A square has 4 sides. What else does a square have? A square has four lengths, and all their lengths are the same. So the idea is we want to be able to move the turtle by the same degree, which is 90 degrees, and we also want to move the turtle forward, which indicates the length, its length, and it always has the same length. For example, I can't just have this be 95 and this be 120 because now it's not a square because we are messing up the rule of math when drawing shapes in geometry. The idea is a square needs to have 4 sides. Here we have, this is 1 side right here, this is 2 sides, this is 3 sides, this is 4 sides. So the idea is whenever you want to draw a shape, always use the method that allows you to draw shapes such as left or right. Left and right are basically the same, so I could have just done t dot forward. I could have done right if I wanted to here. I could have just made this right, and it will just go in the opposite direction. So it will start on the opposite way. So instead of starting on the x direction, it will start in the opposite direction because that's what the right does. It just starts from the bottom left to the top right. Again, we'll definitely deal with turtles. This is a little introduction to turtles. We'll definitely keep using it throughout the course. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. Thanks for watching.